He found a hammer, some screw, and canvas and started repairing work. Whatever he could do to save the boat and the sailors on it. He managed to scratch canvas and screw waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes. Where there was breakage, he was trying to cover it. Most of the water was now being deflected. Direction of the water was changed over the side. Then the hand pump started to block with the debris. Debris is known, which you can say, kachra and all that. The electric pump had a short circuit. These were all the problems. Water level rose up dangerously. He found that their two spare hand pumps had been pulled away by currents along with the foresty sail, the zib, the dinges, the main anchor. He searched another electric pump, connected it to an out pipe, and water was pumped out throughout the night. They got no replies from their midday calls, which you can say the emergency call. Sue's head had swollen alarmingly. She had two enormous black eyes and a deep cut on her arms. Black eyes because of the blood clots. On the morning of January 3, the pumps had reduced the water on board. Each of them took rest for 2 hours, turn by turn. In rotations, they were able to take the rest. They had survived for 15 hours since the wave had struck. But she was not strong enough to take them to Australia. The boat was not enough. Now he checked the charts, calculated there were two islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. He hoped to reach the Isle Amsterdam, a French scientific base, an island. So on January 4, after 36 hours of continuous pumping, they reached the last few centimeters of water. Now they had to keep pace to continue with the water still coming in, because I told you already there was water outside, inside the boat. Mary found some corn, some roasted beef and cracker, biscuits and all that. They ate their first meal in the last 2 days. Their relief was short lived because immediately the weather changed again. At 4 p.m., black clouds began building up. Within an hour, the wind was back to 40 knots, again with a full speed. The seas were getting higher. That means the waves were getting higher. Throughout the night, the weather became worse. By dawn, by the early morning on January 5, their situation was extremely dangerous. The narrator went in to comfort the children. John asked if they were going to die. How a father could answer this question? The narrator tried to assure him that they could make it. They will come over it definitely. Then John said, "We are not afraid of dying if we can all be together." From there we have taken the title. That means father, mother, Sue and John, if they are all together, they are not afraid of death at all. The narrator could find no words to respond. He determined to fight the sea, to protect the weak starboard sides. He decided to stop the ship with the undamaged portful hulls facing the oncoming waves. He used an improvised sea anchor of heavy nylon rope and two 22-liter plastic barrels of paraffin. More water rushed in through the broken planks in the evening. On the morning of January 6, the wind became less severe. The narrator got a reading on the sextant. He made quick calculations. She came in and gave him a card. Sue came in and gave him a card she had made. What she had made? She had drawn the caricatures, the cartoons of Mary and the narrator, the father and the mother. It also had a message expressing love and thanks. At 2 p.m., After checking calculations, now the narrator asks Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. So they have to turn the boat to 185 degree now, and he could then expect to see an island at about 5 p.m. with a hope. Then he went below, climbed on his bunk, and dozed off because he was so tired. Dozed off means he went asleep. He woke up at 6 p.m. They were to be there on the island by 5 p.m. But when he came to his senses, it was 6 p.m. John entered and asked if he could embrace his daddy. Sue was right behind him. They called him the best daddy in the world and the best captain. They informed him that they had found the island. The narrator rushed on the deck because he himself was surprised. He saw the outline of the island of Isle Amsterdam. That night they anchored offshore. The next morning, all the 28 inhabitants, I told you, it is on a French scientific base. So very few people are living there. All 28 inhabitants of the island cheered them. They welcomed them and helped them ashore. After reaching the land, the narrator thought of Larry and Herb. How much helpful they were. They had been cheerful under direst stress when they were on the face of death. Even still, they were cheerful. Mary had stayed at the wheel for those crucial hours when they were all facing death. Then he thought of his 7-year-old girl who did not want them to worry about her head injury, and of 6-year-old child boy who was not afraid to die. How courageous they all are. So it's an adventurous story or a journey, and we will start reading it in our next videos. Till then, watch the video very carefully time and again and try to understand the story.